Hey, vibrations, sweet babies. Let me figure out where I want to set my microphone down. I think I want to go with right here. Hopefully it stays put there. You may hear that oh wow, isn't that better? Now you can definitely hear that I am parked quite literally next to a waterfall. So we're hanging out here today for a brief reading. It is a beautiful, beautiful day. I know we have some Neptune transits happening right now. I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't really intuited into what that really is going to be showing us. I need to do a little bit more of my own understanding around Neptune and just the lessons of Neptune and all of that. So I might speak on that at a later date. Right now, I definitely felt the Neptune presence as it was shifting the last couple days because I don't know, water has been coming up a lot for us collective, water in all types of forms, and last night we had a really beautiful thunderstorm here in my area where I'm located, and it was like lightning, thunder, like the whole 9 yards. Some of the thunder was so like earth rattling that I thought like something crashed outside of my apartment because it shook like the whole spot. So yeah, first like real good thunderstorm that we've had here for the April showers, right on time. April 1st today when I'm recording this. No pranks, no jokes, none of that. I will say that at the time that I am reading this, I've been feeling into some like really big spectator energy. I was picking up on that a while ago, actually, and that recording is going to be going out like today when I'm recording this. Keep up with me, friends. Hang in here with me, friends. I was feeling into that ahead of time, and I just think that it's showing up kind of been underlying energy, but I think it's been making itself a little bit more prevalent to us in this time and space. So there's been some interesting energies that I've been feeling into today. We had like a very cleansing thunderstorm. I feel like it was very much healing and insightful, connecting us to the beautiful energy of Neptune. And you know, I was talking about water like for the past couple days in my readings. Those readings are not up yet, but you know, it just, everything is so lush right now. Like this waterfall is rushing and running so, yes, exactly succulent. Everything feels really lush right now. Like things are soaking up the water so that they can bloom and flourish. And I live on a river, and I also live in an area that just has a lot of lakes and things around. It's been really, I don't know, I spent a lot of my teenage years, I think, missing some of the beautiful parts of this area because I had to face so many ugly things at home. And since deciding to come back here on my own terms and in my own way, I have really been able to reconnect to my roots, like reconnect to my ancestral roots, you know, like literally my lineage has been here. I'm Indigenous American, so like we've been here, we out here, okay, we've been out here, and I'm just really embracing that whole journey and ideology. And yeah, so just a lot of very like cleansing energy. But I think what also is happening is that things that had piqued our curiosity, I just feel like things are starting to sprout and show life, and just like show, like coming from beneath the surface of the soil to like actually starting to, when you start to see like green poking out from the ground. And I think with this, we may see some weeds that need tending to. Oh, the first card that just came out was Sunflower. Interesting. And the sunflower represents action, right? Because sun is all about like the actions that we're taking to grow things, and the actions that we're taking to see things be fruitful and flourish. Are we taking actions that align with our emotions? Are we making choices that are really going to be good for our joy? Are we following our bliss? So what I've been really feeling for us collective today, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, so I actually saw this really horrible it was like a beautiful thunderstorm. It felt like it was bringing clarity. That's exactly what it was. It's like it's washing away I think some things that feel a little distorted. There's like a level of clarity that's coming with water, with rain, with showers, like submerging intentionally into water. And bird medicine might be significant right now. Robins are showing up, crows are showing up, cardinals are significant, eagles are significant, also turkey feathers might be significant. You might be finding feathers if you're spending more time outdoors. As the weather is getting warmer, you might start finding feathers. Okay, this is a reminder of your connection to spirit, and also a reminder of all of the prayers that you have whispered have been heard. It's like a little like, hey, we heard you. How in this present moment, is the divine showing you something related to your prayers, to your, I don't know. These feathers might show up in moments of joy, or they might show up when you're thinking about something joyful or something that you prayed about. But we're going to talk about this, okay? You need to really make sure that you're connecting to your discernment and your intuition, right? Okay, so confirmations might be showing up like the feather, like these symbols that I've been speaking to. You might have a lot of angel numbers showing up for you. 1010, 1111, 1212 are significant, as well as 57, 37, and 27 have been showing up for us collective. I'm sure there will be more, and I will speak to those. So we need to discuss, like, this was also showing up in another message that I was channeling into the other day, of how Wheel of Fortune, windmill might be significant, or like wind turbines or something of that nature might be significant. We need to talk about how birds of a feather, flamingos, ruffling feathers, are some things coming through. So yeah, I was driving. I had to kind of like get myself out of the house in a little bit more of a rushed way than I usually do. And honestly, I didn't mind it because I have just really been like I was intuiting into weeks ago, and now, of course, in divine timing, this is making itself known and it's showing itself. There's clarity around this situation now, in this present moment, around that situation. 27 is showing up, of someone who is showing up in a way that feels just really uncomfy. And I'm just gonna like kind of leave it at that in regards to my situation. But it's like, oh my god, y'all, I just shuffled the deck, and at the bottom of it, where I'm like holding the cards face up, feather, messages. You could try to ignore your intuition right now, but it would be a futile effort. It would just be so ridiculous, because what I feel right now is the divine is really stepping in. Your spirit team is really stepping in, because you really did have so many prayers, so many things that you prayed upon. And now I'm gonna just be completely honest with you, and it hurts my heart to say this, but there might be an instance where you now need to be aware of being preyed upon. Okay, this happens quite a bit. People who are spiritually in tune, they just have a light about them, right? And it's so beautiful, and it matters so much to me to be able to connect with other people who are high vibrational, or who just really have a deep sacred connection or appreciation to their lives, whether that's spiritually, physically, or mentally. If they're like so deeply into it, I'm into them. Those are just my people, right? They're beautiful. Okay, these people are to be treasured, right? Because I think we sometimes forget that just because that's how we might exist in the world, it's not always as common as we think. There's plenty of amazing people, there's plenty of kind people, there's plenty of people who read the Bible or meditate or whatever. But there is something about, I think, just the way in which certain people have this light in them and carry this light in them, or something along those lines, that I think just makes you feel seen and safe and like you belong, because you feel very similarly to that. And it's just like this very namaste, like the light in me sees the light in you type of energy. Okay, really beautiful. And we expect other people to come from that space, and we expect other people to see that in us and appreciate that in us and treat it with this like care and delicacy. And unfortunately, friends, not everyone is able to do that. Not everyone is able to do that. This might be a two-faced situation, where it's coming from someone who really seems like maybe they're your friend, maybe they just like you, maybe a coworker. They're just maybe they just like wear a mask and they kind of like smile to your face. But there is this element here that there is something really, and I want to say this in a very specific way. There is something that is really, really beautiful about you. Really beautiful about you. There is something very special and beautiful about the kind of heart that you have in the world. And I'm getting emotional when I say this, okay? Bear with me, okay? We're feeling the feelings. Anyway. And someone is not going to be very kind to it. And it's not your fault. It is not anything wrong with you, although they may try to make it seem that way. it is something that is deeply not okay with them, okay? I'm just going to be really clear and honest about this. You have something really beautiful, and do not let other people squander that, okay? Whatever has to happen in your journey is going to only strengthen you. It's only going to empower you down the line. You know, it's all just a part of your experience. It's all just a part of your journey. But there is this sort of like, what I'm foreshadowing is there is likely going to be an experience where there is a hit to that part of you, okay? I'm feeling almost guided by spirit to say, like, don't, like, you're gonna have to be cautious in this life, because like what you really carry and what you offer, and you have like this ability to really like be a beautiful healing light to the world, and that is worth being cautious around. But there are some things that even with all of the caution, you know, it's just really like this really deep, like gutted feeling, gut feeling. And I'm gonna just share with you what was coming through around this energy earlier, is that this may have to do with a feminine energy in your life, or this could have to do with, like I said, a really just beautiful part of yourself that's probably very empathetic, very understanding, very kind, very soft, very intuitive, very loving, very open-hearted, like this really beautiful, beautiful side to you, okay? And it just kind of, to me, feels as though sometimes you may have known this in your life, or know this to be true in the past, where, you know, people want access to you, but they don't even necessarily like know why. They're not necessarily seeing the value of you, because they're not really seeing you as a human being. They're just seeing you as something that they can like siphon the energy from. Like, they just know that they want some of you. They just want some of you. They don't have real reasons why. They just enjoy the way that you are. They like the way that you do things, so on and so forth, which is great when it's coming from somebody who's a healthy individual. But what I'm seeing is that, you know, this is just not someone who necessarily is thinking about your best interest. This is somebody who just wants. They just want it. They just want it. I'm getting the energy of also like somebody like trying to hit. Just, if anything, they're just trying to hit. And like once they do, I don't know. It's just like, you might be going into the situation with a lot of like hope, a little bit of naivety. This might also be something that has already happened. And you might be reflecting back on this and realizing like, I took a chance in this situation, or like that was a really dicey move. Or you could be feeling like, I don't know, like this situation might be recycling itself or repeating itself, and you might be seeing yourself kind of coming back to this situation in a new way, or showing up again in your life in a new way, or just this situation is showing up where you're having to really understand that just because you have a beautiful, hopeful, whimsical naivety to you that's innocent, that's pure, that's light and good in this world, and other people misuse it or mistreat it or devalue it in some way, it feels like, yeah, that's how I'm gonna just put it. It's just like, when this shows up, this doesn't mean that you need to go now shrink down and disconnect from that part of yourself. This is not, and I just want to emphasize this again, like, this is not about you being bad, stupid, wrong, no good, not enough. This is entirely 1010% about them not seeing how fucking precious you are and what you're worth, okay? And I just need you to understand that not everyone is your people, right? And we know this, but this honestly just feels like really fucking shady and shisty, because to me it just seems like you really felt like there was a possibility here, a possibility like for good outcomes. You might have thought this was something that was worth the risk. You might have been feeling like, you know, you're trying to take chances in life. You're trying to see what happens when you bring this really soft, fun, playful energy into something. And sometimes, you know, even when you're taking calculated risks, there is still this element here of like the odds. Are the odds in your favor? Usually, yes, they are, but 100% of the time, baby, no, nobody. It just doesn't happen for everybody, you know, like, where you doesn't happen for anybody, rather. Like, you can't just 100% of the time have everything go amazing. And what I'm seeing here is that this really has to do with, wanting a lot of really beautiful love in your life, wanting a very like enlightened version of a connection, wanting just the connections around you to be more enlightened and to have more beautiful like flow and I don't know, alignment. Like, I don't know, you're needing more from love and from, you want a love that's divinely guided. You can't, like, you felt into something really beautiful in your existence many times, I'm sure. And instead of feeling like, you know, I want this and I deserve to have this, instead, you know, it just felt like you had to pull away from those things that you wanted. Like, you were made to feel like those things couldn't exist or couldn't happen, and couldn't really, So, okay. It's a very tricky, like, lesson and balancing act of preserving your beautiful sacred energy, but also wanting to be felt and experienced and connect and call in, you know, soul family and beautiful opportunities, right? And honestly, friends, I wish I had the answer. Like, I really wish I had the answer. Like, that would be something that I would love to delve into more for myself, because it's been a very tricky balancing act for me for a very long time. And at the end of the day, you know, I just kind of always have to come back to this place of, if my heart is like pure, if I'm giving the best intentions to the world around me, if I'm really coming from a place of just like, you know, I see everyone as, oh, I'm getting emotional again, friends. Oh my goodness. If you see everyone through the lens of like, we're all, you know, having this spiritual existence here together, we're all God's children, you know, we are all just sort of in this oneness sort of place, which is a beautiful high vibrational perspective, right? Like, we have to just sort of learn how to also embrace the laws of the universe that exist here with us, and that is the law of polarity, meaning there will be opposition, there will be challenges, there will be things that don't feel aligned to that whole idea of oneness. People living in separation, people living in the very egocentric mind. And you know, I have to deal with people's projections all the time as a model, but also just as a human being. I think I might have felt like this job was good for me probably because of this already existing in my life before I put myself in those positions, so I might as well wear cool outfits and take cool pictures in the process of it, you know what I mean? But there's just this super funny myth about models being very like egotistical, right? Or being very self-centered or whatever it is. And I just have to like laugh at that because of a couple of reasons. Number one, first of all, no, you know, like we might be self-aware because we have to know all of the movements of our body, like constantly, every little micro movement is what they're called. However, I know some of the most intelligent, hard-working, dedicated, disciplined. I mean, first of all, they're also tanks. They're like, we're all athletes working out all the time at this point. We're lugging our suitcases around. We're walking up New York City walk-ups. We're running through airports to catch flights. Like, I just want to make it known that we also have to hear a lot of rejection all the time. We have to deal with people telling us their feelings around beauty, image, and standards, and all kinds of things. So there's a lot to the job. Maybe there are some really highly confident, high self-esteem, self-worth women in this industry, and I would like to think that I'm one of them, right? Because those are all good things to have when the ego is not controlling the show, right? And at the end of the day, like, me and my team of 30 plus women, we know that, you know, competition happens at the bottom, collaboration happens at the top, baby. Like, there is no reason for us to compare. There is no reason for us to compete. When we join forces and join our resources, we are all able to prosper, and we're all able to be so much more fruitful and abundant. And I've been so happy to be, yes, community is showing up here, represented by 37. Like, you just get so much more out of life when you're able to realize that the ego is not it. Let me bring it back around. I was gonna just go onto a tangent because I just love my girls so much that I work with. But anyways, the ego, you know, is problematic, right? When we don't have self-esteem, when there is no self-worth, when there is no confidence, right? Because then the ego is doing literally the most to try to validate itself in whatever way that means. Whether it means that it's showing up and it's like, I'm no good, I'm going to go and validate all these reasons that I'm no good and find subconsciously, on a subconscious level, all these experiences that are going to prove that to me. Or it's going to try to constantly seek out validation of people that are like boosting your ego, right? Boosting your ego. But what does that really do? And we've talked about this in other readings. Like, what does that really do if you don't have this felt sense of inner acceptance for yourself first and foremost? Like, there will never be enough validation from the external that's going to make you believe that. So anyway, my other point to the whole models being super egocentric is like, I feel like everybody goes into the workforce, right? Goes into their job, clocks in, and there's like that one person on the team who's like just very full of themselves, like so full of themselves, talks down to everybody else, just has a snide little tone about them. And I'm just saying, my point is, that exists everywhere. It exists in every single job. There is always going to be one freaking bad egg, you know, just a bad freaking egg. And that's their karma, that's their journey. We wish them well. I thank them for illuminating some things for me in my life, making me well aware that, like, okay, this exists all over the place, right? And my point being that there's a lot of people who do exist in this very, when I'm talking about the ego, it's like they can't see the bigger picture, the bird's eye view of how we're all connected and we're all in this very, like, oneness space, or we at least can be, right? When we relax our nervous systems, when we are dropped into the present moment, when we allow ourselves to consciously connect with someone and really be taking in their full self, right? To really be like fully, you know, fully expressed, fully experiencing your moment, right? And that's where the ego starts to either panic, right? Or it starts to fall back, right? When we're able to understand the stories that the ego has been telling us to make us feel like we're separate or other than, or need to pull away or disconnect. And we examine what those stories really are about and where they come from and why they're here. This might have to do with some inner teenage healing, because that was showing up for our collective. Yeah, it just seems like you're going to really be able to then see how other people are really existing and living in just that very egocentric space where they're just operating from opposition. They're operating from their stories. They're operating from the 3D, repeating the same cycles, not looking at their energy, not looking at their mindset and how those things might be manifesting for them. Yeah, just kind of in this labyrinth. And you know what? It's interesting because I feel like it's labyrinth, but not showing up in like the journey type of way. Yes, exactly. It's labyrinth showing up in like, when you actually look at a labyrinth, right? It's a circle. Okay. A journey might have moments where you twist and you turn and you come back around and you have your infinite loop of circumstances, right? But when you're looking at the labyrinth, it is meant to be a maze. It is meant to be confusing. It is meant to bring you back to start, and you're like, what the actual fuck am I doing here, right? And that's the sort of energy of living in the ego. And when you're able to finally have, like, I'm just laughing because it's just funny to me of like, who would want to do that? Like, I don't know. I was doing that and I was like, I cannot do that anymore. And I kind of like understood from probably a younger age than most is when I started really trying to understand all of this. So, you know, for whatever reason, these things became really important to me at a young age when I decided I wanted to work with women, right? Because of my life circumstances, I was like, all right, I want to learn this. I want to understand this. So working with women as a life coach. And now I just get to work with women all the time, and I just love it. Because I love women. Just like, I love me some feminine energy. I love me some womanhood. Like, I love it. Anyway, yeah, this is just like egocentric, like, in the same circle. It feels like a maze. Somebody who is just constantly like wrapped up in themselves and their beliefs and their stories about life. And we all need an ego. We all need an individuality. We all need to have our own beliefs and thoughts and whatever, right? But at the end of the day, if we're unable to ever let that fall back to maybe intuit someone else's experience, to feel their energy, to listen to their thoughts and their beliefs, to, like that, that's important. Like, there has to be that balance. There has to be that level of someone actually like being here, right? Some people think that being able to intuit energy and all of that kind of stuff means that you're like head in the clouds, woo-woo, off in whatever. But I would argue that actually we are very much present. We are here. We are in the experience. We are taking it in. We are aware. We are feeling. We are sensing. We are reading that. So people who are constantly in their thoughts, in their heads, in their stories, in their beliefs, in their cycles, are actually the ones who are living in their head. You are not here. You're in the thoughts. You're in the past. You're in, I've had so many songs like stuck in my head. I had Olivia Newton, hopelessly devoted to you, but now there's nowhere to hide since you pushed my love aside. I'm out of my head. Yeah, that's a good one. And then what was the other one? Oh, yeah. I love this because it's just, I don't know. They just keep coming back around. I ignore the rumors. There's my lesson. Always talking about the future when you're not even present. 'Cause I'm the prize, yo. I'm the blessing. And that's exactly it. Like, you're talking about the future and you're talking about all these thoughts and all these things, but you're not even here in the now. You're not even experiencing the now. And this is kind of the energy that I'm getting, like, from you towards whatever might be showing up for you with your connections. It's okay if your connections feel wonky right now. Venus is going to be leaving retrograde soon, and it's going to be direct soon, right? And your path right now is still unfolding, even though you're getting a lot of clarity, even though you're feeling like pretty grounded and stable and like, okay, I got this. Like, it's still, there's a lot of things that are still becoming more and more clear about where you're at and what this timeline is going to look like for you. I feel like you're actually in pretty good spirits overall, but I do just see, like I said, that there is this energy of discerning and learning to balance like how much access you give to somebody and how much you want to like put your best self out into the world. And like I said, like, and I've said this before in other readings, if it's your God-given right to be whimsical, and if you want to put yourself out there, if you want to be vulnerable, if you want to be open-hearted, soft, whatever, playful, have like a childlike innocence to yourself, go do that. I'm giving you full permission. Like, go and do that, right? And whoever is like not able to receive that is entirely on them and has nothing to do with you. And I just feel like there is this level of feeling like, I don't know, there's just gonna be a very unpleasant situation, I think, in your experience, or it's already happened in your experience, that's going to just kind of bring up that issue or bring up that lessen, and just kind of bring up some of the things that you're trying to really, I think, like, seal the deal, tie a bow around, like, you know, make, yeah, I don't know. Do with that what you will. So I know this is getting to be a long reading. I'm going to just see if anything else wants to show up here. Yeah, boundaries. Boundaries just popped out. This is all very fated. This is all very karmic for you. Really just try to keep going with the flow and staying in a place of surrender, especially until about mid-April, while everything starts to recycle, keeps wanting to pop out. Recovery, hello again. It just keeps wanting to come out. Like, I don't know what that means. I keep putting it back in the deck, like, shh, you know. But it just feels as though, like, it might be in your best interest. 57 is showing up. Yeah. It might be in your best interest to heal something right now, to see the potential in something, to see that it stands the test of time. Infinity sign is showing up here. As a symbol. Energies healing up here. Healing wonder. Yeah, you might be wondering if it's worth it to heal something, to recover something. This situation that you're going through or may go through with some, like, energy that's just, it seems like very wounded feminine. It also feels like it could just be someone who is trying to access your gifts and your energy in some way. As you're going through that experience, you're really understanding, like, how much your energy is sacred and how much healing you've done around all of that kind of stuff, because you're just, like, feeling these red flags show up. It's like, I ignored the rumors, right? There's my lesson. That's exactly it. Like, you need to look at what's showing up for you. Feathers actually might be showing up also as a sign of spiritual protection. So make sure you're discerning, right? You preyed upon things. That doesn't mean that you're never going to end up in experiences that show opposition of those prayers. It's in those times that you need to connect with yourself, connect with spirit, and be discerning about what is really the path for you to connect. And I'm seeing right here in the cards are all fucked up. Never give up, okay? Don't give up on this. The prayers that you put out for a while. I'm seeing, like, for a while, because right now we've been going through some transits about, like, all of these self-related things, spiritually, like, in tune related things, since back in, like, the end of December. Okay, so let me just see if any clarifiers want to come out around this situation. Okay. Wow. Y'all are gonna really be shook with these. Okay. Intuition. The red flags you ignore now will come back to bite you later. Narcissist. Someone who is too full of themselves. Guardian. A lost loved one watches over you. And moving, which is symbolized by house, change of residence, or moving with your partner. Yeah, okay. So there's actually a couple of, I don't think you are moving anywhere. I don't think you are You might have actually been thinking about changing your residence. You might be thinking about like where you want to build a home for yourself, or like get yourself rooted, or your kind of like future home life. That might be something that's on your mind. These actually might be part of your prayers that you need to be like very much aware of and thinking about. I've actually been talking to my family about like, you know, because there's a home that my great grandfather built, and I really want that to stay into the family. So things of that nature. But I've also been thinking like, you know, I don't really want to wait to see what happens with that. Like, should I be looking into purchasing my own home, you know, instead of like trying to purchase that out of the family, whatever. So those have been thoughts on my mind. But yeah, I think that through this solar eclipse, there is a situation with someone. This might be in your immediate residence. This also might be somebody around your like physical location. I'm really feeling like it is within your immediate residence. If you also live in an apartment building, or if you have like multiple, like, I don't know, it just feels like there's many people in close proximity. Yeah, close proximity. Distance is the card that came out around that. But for me, it's like it isn't much of a distance. There's definitely something here that's giving, like, you could put a little bit of distance. This might be someone who is telling you to like move on in your situation. This might be someone who's telling you, they're just putting a lot of like maybe negative energy out there, living in that egocentric spot. You know, they have a lot of negative stories. They're not able really to see the great things. And they might be just kind of squashing or trying to like put, like, I don't know. It's almost like you're no longer suppressing this thing, but you feel like this outside influence that almost like pushes this like whimsical, happy-go-lucky, you know, kind of side down. I do want to just say this to you because this is what you know, we have guardian angels, a lost loved one watching over you. I just feel like this energy of some, like, your spirit team around you just being like, the only doors that are closed are the ones that you don't decide to open. Just open that. Like, that's the energy. It's like, there's nothing that's closed on you. Just go open them. Like, whatever door that you feel like is closed, just open it. Just open it. Now, remind you, you've gone through a lot of things. You've learned a lot of lessons. And now it's time for you to be discerning so that you can co-create with the universe what it is that you're trying to call in and the things that you've been praying for. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this reading. I do want to say 1010, 57 showed up. 57's been showing up a lot. 27's also been showing up a lot. But yeah, so just make sure you're really moving with integrity, using your discretion, using your discernment, using your moral compass is a really big thing. And yeah, don't put yourself in a position for you to be, I don't know, I can't really explain it other than just like, slow down. Okay, be careful on your roads. If you're driving around, if you're somebody who drives a lot, please be careful on roads. Just drive cautiously, take it slow. You know, if someone is driving like super close to your ass, just, you know, casually fuck off, you know. You don't have to give energy to them. You don't have to like swear at them or anything, like I might, but just, you know, pay them no mind. Like, you might be there, like, by the grace of God to keep them safe, to make sure that they're safe on their journey. You never know, right? So don't change up your pace because of anybody else who has their own motives, who has their own things, their own flusters, their own stories, and they're like, you know, that's kind of the energy. And it's like, no, this is my pace. You ended up here behind me for whatever reason, and now you're going at my pace. Or regardless of the whole idea of driving, just think about yourself in the situation of, you know, I don't need to be forced or to feel uncomfortable, or anytime I do feel uncomfortable or there's red flags that are showing up for me or whatever, like, I don't need to feel like this. Like, I know better. I've gone through a lot. My energy is sacred. I have an intuition. I am not some space cadet with my head in the clouds. I'm actually very present. I'm actually very here. I know what's good for me. I know what's right for myself. I prayed on things for many years. I prayed on specific things for many years. And I prayed also for the wisdom and the discernment to follow what feels right to me, and to know what's my bliss and what's actually for my highest and greatest good. So do not let anything trip you up on that path, although things really might show up for you and people might really want access to you. There's definitely an energy of someone just like really wanting to involve themselves in you, even from a distance, even if it's like energetically or emotionally. Like, within your vicinity, there's just like this energy of someone wanting to really be involved with you, and they might not even really know how to connect with you in order to do it, but they're like tapping into their ooh, I don't like that. Yeah, they're like really trying to tap into your energy and access you, regardless of whether you have a connection, regardless of whether you it feels as though they're trying to convince themselves that they are not doing anything wrong, or they really just don't see that they're doing anything wrong. But if you're feeling drained, if you're feeling like, you know, you always have a spectator, someone looking over your shoulder, or if you feel like you have to suppress something or make yourself small, or can't speak up is a really big thing. You can't speak up or speak your truth, things like that we're going to talk about that. I think I'm going to pull some cards on how to handle this situation, because I'm kind of done with it. How about y'all? Okay, so just keep connecting to what feels good for you, connecting to your bliss, your joy, your whimsy, your wonder. Yes. I'm sending you all my lovin'.